It all starts with nothing. Yet something. Not darkness nor light, but gray. Just gray. The grayness was, is, and it seems it will forever be. The shadows are what first break up the monochromatic churning. These darkened shadows slowly begin to take shape, and soon scale is established by bigger shadows and shapes. The shapes take the form of mountains, their craggy walls and cliff faces thrusting high into the heavens, their peaks out of sight on what now appears as an overcast day, a gray day. Slowly, colors crawl out of the grayness, filling in this bland canvas. Tones of slate and navy, deep purples and rich, contrasting dark greens. And finally, brilliant, bright spots of golden yellow. Flowers. From the silence comes drums. Drums echoing throughout the valley, beating rhythmically. Heavy steel boots keeping time with the drums. Calls and responses sound forth. Harsh voices of battle-hardened captains and sergeants raising morale and stirring up the bloodlust, so needed for the battle to come. We watch column after column after column of Dwarven legionaries marching off to war. The columns all resplendent with shining armor, trimmed beards, and bright standards of their cohorts. However, the vanguard stands out the most. Each dwarf fitted with royal purple gambesons, ornately smithed armor, and colorful shields representing smaller sects of their clans. The vanguard, formed of the most courageous and skillful dwarven warriors, was allowed such flair for their valor in battle. 2 dwarves at the front rank of the vanguard cohort, carrying matching shields. One, a silver gilded battle axe in hand, and the other gripping a massive warhammer. Their shields are a field of dark purple, inlaid with silver runes, a single chevron bisecting the field, and 3 bull's heads, 2 either side of the chevron's point and 1 at its base. The two dwarves look identical, steely gray eyes, reddish brown hair and beards, and the same fierce look of veterancy upon their faces as they march. Yes, the dwarves were off to war once again, not for the first, 10th, or 100th time, and certainly not for the last. Then comes the cold, obscuring gray once more, timeless, unending, silent. Then light. Bright flames clear away the haziness, and we now see a raging battle below. Streaks of white, hot, magical flame shoot forth from somewhere out of sight, and a gigantic boulder smashes through a group of phalanx sentinels, just out of frame to our left. A massive-bodied beast bursts out into groups of advancing dwarves, taking out 4 charging spearmen with one swing of its mighty blade. Howls of agony fill our ears and threaten to drown out all other sounds of battle. Smoke from the smoldering corpses crosses our view before we can see the full battlefield before us. Great gray mountains far off in the overcast sky, thousands of dwarven heavy infantry going to battle against massive foes in the foreground. In the distance, we still see dwarven cohorts marching towards the front lines, ready to take the place of their fallen clansmen, though it seems the battle has already been long, for hundreds of the dead lay strewn all about, the ranks broken and beaten. Gray again, devoid of color, or has it always been this way? Almost seems like the fog that clings to the mountains. Mountains. We hear grunts and cries of pain as weapons find their mark, the sound much more intimate than before. The fog begins to fade and we see 2 dwarves back towards each other, our focus upon the 2 of them as they lash out at enemies beyond our frame. Their timing is nearly perfect for every strike. Their dance, the deadly dance of the best warriors. One moment too early or too late, would mean the end. Nearly impossible to tell apart, save for one fights two-handed with a warhammer and the other with battle axe and shield. They seem to fight tirelessly, landing blow after blow and dodging incoming attacks from massive swords. At times, the dwarf with the battle axe strikes true. A great flash appears, and radiant light bursts forth, a gleeful smile appearing on his dwarven face.
Take that back to your master, you big bastard!
And then the swirling smoke, like that of a dying candle. Silence. Or ringing. A distant bell quietly tolling in the distance. The gray smoke fades into black. Then from the darkness we see a party. Standing in the center of a dark pool of still water, surrounded by a large cavern. Stalagmites surrounding the water spring forth from the massive hoard of treasure not yet claimed in this dragon's lair from long ago. The midday's light shines in, illuminating the space from the lair's entrance a few hundred feet from where you stand on the surface of the 1,500-foot vertical pool of salt water above the profaned and forgotten entrance of Mountain Heart you uncovered below. Upon the stairs before you, 4 figures, 3 squat dwarven forms, armed and armored. In the rear, a dark-skinned dwarf holds a dagger's edge to the throat of a bound and gagged, kneeling Verisar Rylinya. Nearby stands another, with his hands firmly planted on a pickaxe. And the third, the bald dwarf closest to you, a massive sword made from earth and stone upon his back. He leans forward towards the group of you, as the water slowly trickles off your skin, falling back into the pool at your feet.
Greetings, friends. My name is Dwarven Arhart. I love my city and I want to see it return to the glory it deserves. I seek vengeance upon those who would attempt to beguile and enslave my brothers in arms. The heart of the mountain will beat once more if I have anything to say about it. In God's be damned, I will. My friends, you have the next 30 seconds to enlighten me and my brothers here to who exactly you are and what you are doing here, or I'll be forced to execute this lovely elf and dispatch the group of you back to the depths of the cave from whence you were just birthed. So start talking, and please, for the love of Ulfrid, show some emotion.
Damn it, Nate. I have been sitting on that joke all week, and I was just going to do it. And you just throw it, you just type it out there.
It's good.
Unbelievable.
I was trying not to be disruptive with my jokes. I'm sorry.
The best jokes are disruptive. Oh,
That's a long time coming. I don't think anybody's... Well, I think maybe it's been said once this campaign. I don't know. Very good. Very good. No one's upset.
Well, Anna will step up pretty quickly and to Orhart, and she'll take, I don't know, 3 precious seconds, and she will bow. And she will look up and she will say, "That is my cousin you have there. So I'd appreciate it if she made it out of this conversation alive." And then she will pull out the badge of Briarwood that she's been carrying on her, that she took off of Sir Garen's body. And she will show it. She'll say, "We have been sent by Briarwood to make contact with Mountain Heart. We are from south of the God's Wall. It is, we weren't sure what we were going to find, and we found a lot of," and then she'll glance back to Dvalin and say, "people of the north surrounding Mountain Heart. So we looked for another way in. We have, well, it seems like There's a lot going on down there. So we came back to say that. So, we are not your enemies. We were sent as diplomats. And we'd be happy to. We want to know more information about what is going on in Mountain Art. And we are happy to provide information in return.
Kind of stares at you for a moment, and you can see him kind of looking over the group in general. Takes a small step forward.
Can I ready an action?
Yeah.
If I think knife guy is going to do anything, I'm going to freeze him.
Make just a perception check.
Sorry, didn't even have it open yet.
You're good. First roll of the night. Other than that, acrobatics check from Vampin.
Perception, you said?
Yeah. So as you're kind of preparing that, you look at the guy in the back, and like there's something about the way that he's holding the knife that almost immediately like puts you at ease. It's not super tense against her neck, and there doesn't seem to be a lot in it from him. As Orhart steps forward,
And the rest of you, what do you have to say for yourselves? I'd like to hear at least a word from each.
I mean, you're the first dwarves we've heard, except for Dwalin here, speak with any emotion this morning, so it's comforting, save for the knife you're holding against our friends. So, like Anna said, we're not your enemy, and don't want things to go a different way here. So, why don't you let Sarah go? And it seems we have a lot to gain from each other.
That makes two of you.
I would walk up next to Anna and say, Storvin, or Mr. Orhart, sir, we've had one hell of a morning. We're soaked. I need a nap, and I'm not really sure how long we can stay standing on this puddle. I, for one, would really appreciate not getting wet again. We're a little tired, little wired, and we're trying to make contact with any Undercity survivors. We've respected the statue of Aegon Drake below, and we found most of your brothers sort of enslaved and imprisoned, kind of like you said. We'll certainly share any information if we can just get somewhere dry, maybe warm up around a fire, trade some information over a few pints of ale. We've got plenty to share. I'll play some music, and we can all take a breather before anyone does something regretful.
roll a persuasion check with advantage.
I had it open.
And yeah, the advantage comes from the aid of your other party members speaking before you.
You were all together the whole time you were down there.
We were.
The 8 of us, yes.
Honestly, probably the
7
other
of
way
us.
No one was distant for any amount of time. Kept your eyes on each other.
I mean, they kind of let the small guy try and hold the front line for a few minutes. I'm still a little frustrated about that, but you know, we could all still see each other if that's what you mean. we haven't been whatever it is they've done to your kin. They haven't done that to us, as far as we know.
You see Orhart kind of turn back and nod, to which Mag lowers his knife and starts untying Sarah, who stands up. And there's a few words between the two of them.
Sorry about that. Showmanship. Promise it was no pleasure of mine. But I'm sure your friends can fill you in. If they spent real time around what's down there, you'll understand.
She kind of just stares at him and starts walking forward. And then as she does, Orhart kind of steps forward more and kind of off to the side, making room on the stairs. Also, not knowing exactly how long you guys may have to stand on the water as you're doing.
Yes, like he said, sorry about the showmanship of this all. But as we found, thralls can't show emotions. And we've seen a few times before that causing an emotional response can set them off. This was our way to see if we could get any of you to snap out of it in case, well. But let's head back to your friends and maybe we'll have a nice long chat.
You mean Cole Namil?
Yeah, the halfling and the half whatever that one is.
Yeah, we don't know what to call him either.
The halfling and the half thing.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's a spider elf.
We'll follow him.
Yeah, and they'll slowly start walking. The other two kind of nod at you all. It's a little tense at first, and Sarah will kind of drop back, and in a more lowered voice to Anna particularly, and anyone that's like kind of right around her at the time.
Yeah, because Anna would go check on Sarah.
She's like,
Sorry about all that. I was in on it to a point. I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into. But they seemed pretty convinced that you might return that yourselves.
Having been down there, I understand why they took the precautions, truly. So.
When did they find you?
Well, we were on the way back. What was it, yesterday? It was in the caves. I think they'd been watching us for a time. They're a bit rough around the edges, these ones. But they seem to mean...
and she just kind of trails off. She's not. She doesn't know exactly what to make of them. And then as far as what you know, Sarah, she's very more prim proper. So a little rough around the edges is a bit maybe off-putting.
As nice as she can put it.
Yeah. But yeah, so you'll notice as you guys kind of start heading out, if you're all following at this point, they do have a fire set up in the next portion of the room. And they'll kind of stand there for a little while, offer you like a place to kind of like warm up, dry off before heading back. But they are kind of like,
do what you need to do, warm up. It's a bit of a trek back. We don't want to stay here too long.
and as you get into the larger, I'm not going to go to the map, but as you get into the larger portion of the room, there are multiple sets of, I guess maybe it's just better to just drag you over there. Where's the camera rock? Is the camera rock alive? Do I need to drag him around?
Nope.
Nope. Beautiful.
Hammerrock's not alive? I thought you said it was, Will.
Nope. Oh, no, I'm doing it all on here. I'm just recording the Zoom separately.
Oh, dope.
Though apparently the Windows recording only has a 30-minute max.
You guys not see that camcorder setup behind him?
Just like zoomed in on the screen. Perfect. All right.
So do you need me to record the Zoom, Will?
The Zoom is recording.
Okay, cool.
All right. So as you get moved into the further part, they have a fire kind of right where you're standing, and
Why?
as you walk into the room, the corpse of the chimera, which is not on the map, you see among that corpse is the corpse of many dwarven armored sentinels, as it seems.
We think they were waiting for you to come back up. We were able to dispatch them. So I don't know how long we have here. In the shadow of the mountain, things seem to have a better sense of where we, and apparently you, are. So if you could warm yourselves up, dry yourselves off with a bit of haste, we can be out of here and get back to your friends. That region seems to be a bit safer, as it were.
And the three of them will kind of move forward, and as they're walking, they're pretty like on edge, kind of looking around a bit, and you actually see them kind of walk all the way to the front of the big cave opening and just kind of like peering around and looking. Like, seems like they're like, are we being ambushed by something? You know, they're being incredibly frosty in that way, and so they're all pretty well out of earshot at this point, if anyone wants to talk without them hearing. Now would be the time.
Steven will just say, "Sorry, so you're sure you're okay?"
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. This was all like this when we came through. When they brought me through. I'm not really sure when they did it or who these dwarves are or any of.
And she's kind of motioning to the dead ones.
It's all a bit perplexing. But I it was interesting. There's another one of them. He stayed back with Colt and Emil. It was kind of a on my behest. Collateral, I guess. He's
He's missing his legs. I was surprised they were willing to leave him, to be honest. He was a bit more of a vulnerability for them in comparison to the others. So,
Well, they must be around for some reason.
they're quite weary of this area. So you can probably tell. They were on edge the whole time that we were waiting for you. Kept looking around, checking their backs. I understand some paranoia, but I don't know. What happened down there?
If I may butt in, I think might have told you that the whole place makes me feel uneasy, always has. And I've never known dwarves to be skittish from fights. I might suggest that, despite being somewhat damp still, we follow them along and get out of here and reconvene. Just want a safer area to tell tales.
Agreed. A word of warning, though. Their agenda does not have to be our agenda.
I agree. I just would rather have that debate not here.
Yep, nope. Full send there, Dwal.
I'm just bunching people together for page moving reasons.
I think we're all good to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, they will start kind of leading the way through the caverns as you exit out. It is a pretty clear day, and it's about noon as you walk out of the cavern, the Manticore Cavern in Dragon's Lair. And the three of them kind of take point as they're moving through these caves. You'll be able to pick up after a few turns that they've marked some areas to help with navigation. And after a bit of time, eventually you'll be in a more familiar, quote unquote, area to you as you start to see the kind of webbing start to pick up and the egg sacs and all that shit on the walls. Eventually greeted with a large white and blue phase spider that kind of is just hanging out, seeming like it's waiting, and it will follow or lead the rest of the way through the caves until eventually pop you over to the airship page, the broken page that may or may not work. Who knows? No one knows. You come out in the daylight to see Colt, Emil, and another dwarf. This one sitting atop a griffin, which Sarah seems very surprised to see, and she'll let you know that there was not a griffin when she was here, or a hippogriff. I apologize, it's not a griffin. It looks like this. And it is very much a hippogriff, not a griffin, as you can tell by its horse hind legs. And everyone roll an insight check for me. And this is just a general insight check that I would love you to have.
I mean, I really don't have the guidance.
23 seems okay. Um, so, Isabel, Saru, Anna. There's a point in your travel in the cave where this kind of uneasy feeling that you really hadn't noticed, like it hadn't been in the forefront of your mind. There'd been kind of a lot happening, especially over the last, I don't know, like 4 hours of time, that kind of like vanishes, like this feeling in the back of your head, like of almost like you're being watched, or just like this like subtle paranoia that has just been kind of there for a little while in the background. It kind of just fades away, and you're kind of aware of your surroundings, aware of kind of what's going on, that you notice the feeling. Isabel, like there's part of this that reminds you of when you like shunted the whispers out of your mind, like but on a much like more granular scale, on a very small, like almost imperceptible level, but it's something that you kind of notice happens, and you just kind of take mental note of it. And it just happens as you're walking in the caves, almost as if you're like passing through a invisible barrier, and ever since you walked through it, that feeling drops. But that's all, and only the three of you kind of pick up on that. As you walk out here, you'll notice that Colt and Emil and this other dwarven fellow who is riding the hippogriff are kind of digging through the airship a bit, and there are a few piles kind of set up. There is a decent pile of like general scrap and kind of looks like garbage pieces of wood and stuff. Then there's a pile of like wood that seems a bit more intact. Then there is also a pile of like more interesting looking pieces, mostly metal. There's gears. There's just like worked pieces of the airship that seem like quote unquote futuristic in some way, shape, or form. And it seems like they're kind of organizing the wreckage a bit. And as the dwarves kind of emerge, the three of them start walking over to Griffin Man, and they all kind of meet together and just have like subtle like everything worked out all right, blah blah blah. We had to kill some dwarves, but you know they came out. Blah, blah, you know, just it's quiet conversation between the two of them, just kind of catching each other up on what's been going on. It seems like nothing too like shifty, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
I would jog over to Emil and Colt. Just be like, hey, we made it back. Are you guys okay?
Yes, we are good. This is the most company I've had in my place of living, my cave, my cliff, in quite a long time. It is odd, but it is good, maybe. I don't know. Udo seems nice. He's been helping us, him and the creature.
Yeah, what do you guys, are you organizing, or are you looking for something still?
I'm more so just picking things up and moving them and putting them where Colt tells me to. And Colt will jump in and, yes, we're just trying to organize the ship a bit, putting things into piles, things that might be useful, things that maybe we can bring back. Haven't found anything of too much interest, but I mean, maybe it'll help things that maybe Xerxes can fix. I don't know. I don't know if Xerxes is even on this page now that I look around. What the hell happened to him? Rip.
Is he just behind
Oh,
someone?
there
He's
he is.
under, I don't know.
Yeah, I was like,
Found
he's
him.
probably just behind someone.
I was hiding the whole time.
Ah! Boo.
I would say,
Yeah, I can be over there, but go ahead, Barla.
I would just say that's kind of a good idea. Give me a second, and I'll come help you guys if you still need some help, and then I'd hop over to the dwarfy people.
While Sir's doing his thing, Anna's kind of like catching Sarah up to speed about what we saw down there and answering any questions she has.
Yeah, she doesn't have any like necessary questions. She's more like horrified and also curious, maybe about the dwarves. Saying that there were the same kind of armored dwarves that she saw dead and all that stuff.
Yep.
She's definitely
Steven?
interested.
Kind of more towards the doors, but really just everyone's Stevenson goes, so can we start at the beginning? Like, how did y'all find us? How did you know about the dwarves, or I think you called them thralls, and like, their lack of emotion? Like, who are y'all?
Oh, the beginning's good. Depends what beginning, I guess. Yeah, I think we just got a bit lucky coming across you. You're the first group of free thinkers that we've come across. We saw you moving about the cliffs. What was it? 2 days ago. We started following you. To be honest, we just thought you were, well, like I said, thralls. So when this one here, and he kind of motions to Sarah, when this one here, put up quite a good fight and had a lot to say. We were a bit surprised. And we got to talking with your friend Colt and the mule there. They said you went down to try to find a way into the city, or to at least investigate its whereabouts. And we'd known about that place from a long time ago. But not everyone can descend into the depths of that water and live. Mostly because most of us need air. But seems you have a few tricks about you. Let's maybe get a fire going. We can all sit around and tell tales for a little while. I'd like to know a bit more about what you're all doing here before I get too deep into what me and my friends are doing here, and maybe we could all get to know each other a bit.
And they kind of start tearing apart some of the shitty wood pile under Colt's advisement and start kind of building a small fire. and moving some rocks about so people can take some seats. And after a little bit of time, whoever's moving around the fire, taking a seat, he kind of like,
So, you're from Briarwood then, you said? You're trying to make contact.
Yes, well, if we were all from scattered places before the burning, but all of us ended up in Briarwood and been there for several years, and the Lord of Briarwood was hoping to reestablish contacts north of the wall. Have you guys seen the God's Wall to the south?
Can't say that I have, boys.
and he kind of looks over to the other ones, and they kind of shake their heads in response.
We've spent most of our days here, or nearabouts.
Real quick, Michael, just because I don't want to have to go try and dig for it. The doors closed before, like as the war was starting.
Yeah.
5 years since the burning. So Mountain Heart's been closed, what, 15 years? Give or take?
It is a
Or is
little
it even longer?
I thought it was like
longer.
40. I thought it was like early.
Yeah, I think it's 40.
40? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just needed that lore background.
I think it was like 39, I think. Yeah,
Wow.
so it's like almost 40 years. At least 35.
Well, Stephen will ask because he said they're kind of just from this area. Are y'all from Mountain Heart? Were you once part of the city?
Yes, all of us were from Mountain Heart, yeah. We weren't down there when they shut the gates.
Are there many dwarves like you who remained on the outside?
There was some. Me and my friends here were on a mission from the king. There were 9 of us back then. Yeah.
Just for curiosity's sake, what was the mission? What did the king of Mountain Heart have you guys doing before he shut the gates?
It was 38. The news of what happened to Storlton reached us, and the king wanted us to go scout it out. We were a bit of an elite task force, the Allheart clan. We were to take in the enemy. Report back. Earthborn, the king, he wanted to know how to make our new foes bleed, how to hurt them, how they lived, how they fought, whatever else we could glean from watching them. So that's what we did.
Anna's trying to rack her brain over Orhart clan. If it's been a long time since she studied Mountain Heart, but if just that rang any
Yeah, that doesn't bring any bell to you. As far as
what was the king's name? Was the king's name correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the full king's name I have, but I just wrote Earthborn everywhere. King Earthborn, Giant Slayer. I have it somewhere. Heart of the Mountain.
I was the first dwarf to lay eyes on what happened in that city, and to see what those monsters did, sunk it beneath the waves. We watched them. We watched them for a long time, weeks. I don't know if which of you took part in the old incursion, as it were, but the bastards were strange creatures, not like anything we'd ever experienced. They didn't act like anything or anyone we'd ever known. They were odd, otherworldly. Seemed they only wanted to grow in power, to kill and destroy. They were bestial. But they also had a hierarchy. They had commanders, just as we did. They were as much tacticians as they were instinctual. This was an enemy even our armies couldn't face alone. We were going to need every last bit of help to defeat these monsters. I sent a group of five of us back to Mountain Heart with the information we had to advise the king, my liege, my friend, the best way we could. I still remember that note. Earthborn, we know not this enemy we are facing, or what they are truly capable of. I didn't believe it until I saw Storotan with my own eyes. Or should I say what's left of it? The whole damn thing has been taken beneath the waves of the Solarian. You can see the once towering structures of the city just barely breaching the surface of the water. We're not ready for them. It's not even close. But that didn't stop us before. We make way for Moranth to appeal to the Spire cities in your name. It's time they pay you back for what you did in the old wars, Giant Slayer. We'll need every airship they have to make this a fight. Rally the armies of Mountain Heart behind you and await our signal in the lower city. You know the valley better than anyone. We wait for them to come to us and strike before they know what hit them. It'll be just like old times, friend. See you on the field of battle. Or heart. To be honest, it took years to rally all of Moranth to our cause, and the fleet supported us until the trap was laid. The Primordials marched on Mountain Heart in 1445, as the dwarves of Mountain Heart waited for them below the surface. So we thought. As the battle for the upper city began, my brothers and I here, leading a division of the fleet, we waited for the trap to spring, for my Dwarven brothers to emerge from beneath the valley. Behind my warrior brother, my king. But they didn't come. We were slaughtered. The fleet lost a fourth of its force in less than 3 days. Over the next 2 months, they'd be at half strength. Then the ever opportunistic orcs forced them to retreat back to defend their spires from the hordes on the other side of the mountains. Angry doesn't describe it. I felt like I'd been just betrayed. I was lost. To be honest, the years went by quicker after that. It's all a bit of a blur of bloodshed and white noise. I feel like I died the day the dwarves stayed beneath the rock and earth. Without hope, loyalty, a home, what does a dwarf have?
And he kind of looks up and makes eye contact with Dwalin.
Now, me and my brothers here, we blame the king. His lack of a spine for a long time. And eventually we moved on, started blaming ourselves. Me most of all. The king had obviously misinterpreted my words. It was my fault the dwarves locked themselves away. It was my words that failed this land. But you can only be alone with your thoughts for so long before the truth comes about. Four of us, as I told you, we'd been about these mountains for a time. Well, spent the last few years poking about the caverns of the valley, trying to find our way into the city and find out what's become of our brethren. Bring those cowards to justice. I think you may know the rest of the story. So let's move on to the bit where we were attacked by a phalanx. Our own Dwarven brothers. At least sort of. They lured us in before turning on their own. I don't know if any of you have been ever forced to kill your own. It's what we had to do to survive. We thought maybe they were under a spell. Turns out they were under something more sinister, and I think by what you said you'd seen, you may have seen something similar. Thralls, we call them. Their minds are sick. Something within the mountain has tainted them, infected them.
And he kind of looks over to one of the dwarves.
I don't think you're going to find the help you're looking for down there. The only contact you're going to make is with something like this.
And the dwarf that had his blade, Taveri saw earlier, reaches into a bag, pulls something out. Don't be alarmed. It is dead. It looks like this. It looks like a brain at first. It is kind of split, and it looks a bit rotten to some extent. I'm going to give you the better picture in the chat because there's something about the brain that is a bit more... what do I do? Copy image address, I think. So if you scroll down in the chat, you should get to see it more. It has 4 limbs. Much like a, I don't know, like a small dog or cat. Has these 4 limbs. And it definitely looks a bit old, a bit rotting, a bit diseased in some way maybe, and he kind of like slumps it onto the ground in front of you with some authority.
Can I make a check?
Yeah.
See if I recognize it. Arcana, I'm guessing.
Arcana.
Hope you got it, Steven.
You're still new, Padawan.
Still new.
So, Steven, you're kind of racking your brain a bit, no pun intended, as you're looking at this thing, and it is kind of ghastly to look at. I mean, at first, it's a bit confusing. It's a bit otherworldly is kind of the best way to put it. And you kind of have to almost like mentally piece it together as it's just like this like rotting nastiness, you know? But as you're looking it over, you do recall reading something about these like um, these like body thieves, these brain eaters, these intellect devourers, is what you eventually kind of land on. And it is these kind of like creatures that are aberrant in nature. They're from other realms, but they aren't bred. They're created. And they're created by creatures known as illithid. More accurately, often described as mind flayers. And what you know of kind of this type of creature in particular is they consume minds and inhibit the body, much like a puppet master would. And as you're kind of looking this over and kind of lost in thought, Orhart Storben continues on, and he's,
Now, I don't know what the hell that is, but it was inside my dwarven brothers' heads. We cut it out of them. So if you're looking for the dwarves of Orhart, I think that's all you might find.
Stephen, does Stephen share some information
no.
on like what he thinks that this is?
Not at the moment, no.
Anna will then, I guess, ask and be like, do you know what kind of creature is down there causing this to take over?
We've encountered
And-
a few... Oh, yes.
Do you think your king was already under control 40 years ago? Or do you think that just was, they shut the doors and then something took advantage?
We've encountered a few strange beasts, but nothing that seems quite like this. And for your second question, that's one I ask myself quite often. One that I really like to know the answer to.
Did you ever go back to the Undercity?
Haven't made it that far. Whatever's down there has done a pretty good job of closing it off. That saltwater you encountered, that wasn't there before. That's new.
Yeah.
And as I told you, we, first of all, dwarves not known swimmers.
No. I was just thinking maybe, like, if you got through the city before it became Zombieville or whatnot. But no, I understand.
Yeah, we've gotten to the door, the big door, the shaft. It's not easy to get there, and it's quite a bit of, like you said, dead walking around. It's possible. It's not easy. It's also not worth it, turns out. It would take, I don't know, days for the four of us to clear that. Even if we had all of you. Take a good many hours to even clear the shaft. And who knows what would be beyond it. Hard to guess, probably more salt water.
So the thralls that are walking around in the upper city are those your brothers that you lost in the battle?
Good deal of them, yeah, I think so. A lot of dwarves. There are others, though. I don't know what they're all doing there. We try to stay away from the city as much as we can. Out of its sight, out of its reach. Don't know if you've all been very close, but it's not a great feeling when you're nearby.
Well, one of us has. And he looks over to Dwalin. Then he'll turn back and say, have you guys ever killed one of them? Do they have one of these same brain thingies? Or are they different?
This is a kind of a recent finding of ours. Haven't killed one of them undead in a while. Haven't dug through its skull.
I'm going to, I guess, pull out 4 water skins and use a token of the Horn of Fury and fill the 4 water skins up with ale and offer that to the 4 dwarf dudes.
Thank you kindly. Now that is a musical instrument I can get behind.
And they all seem pretty stoked on that gesture of kindness.
And then I would introduce myself. Well, my name's Suru. Obviously, we've kind of sort of met. Orhart, Mr. Orhart, Storvin, whichever you want to go by. What are your friends' names? Or companions' names?
Oh, it's fine.
And he'll introduce the others. I think their names should be on.
They are.
He nods to this one, the homeless looking one.
This is Gorngrim. He's a bit quiet.
He just kind of nods.
And there's Mag.
And Mag says hello.
And that one there, well, that's Addis, the hippogriff.
And then here's Mag for posterity's sake. And then here is Udo. Udo will also just kind of give you like a friendly like hello and introduce himself as Udo Shadowback, Mag Shadowback, and Gorngrim Orhart are their full names. And then Addis is the bird thing, the hippogriff.
I would pause a second to see if anyone else in the group introduces themselves. And
Yeah.
like if they don't, I'm going to introduce you. So
Well, I mean, yeah, say Anna will.
You know what I do.
Anna will step up and sort of do a half bow and say, "I appreciate you telling us your story, Orhart. And it was a lot to take in, but it helps.
Every so often we need to do a lore dump, you know?
You know the lore dumps are my favorite, truly.
Stares into the camera rack or into Clavius's video camera setup in the background.
Anna she'll kind of pause, like kind of like an awkward pause, and then she'll go, I'm Lestriana Rylinia. A pleasure. She's kind of like making eye contact to see if like anybody's like eyes bulge out of their head or something. Or if they just like accept that and move on.
You should know who I am.
Make a insight check.
Can you repeat that? I didn't catch that the first time. That was a lot of syllables.
Let me roll something. Anna, you do actually catch maybe not like a full-on knowing look, but at the last name, it seems, or Hart at least, Storvin, seemed to be like, okay, like he knows that name, but maybe not. Like your first name, maybe he doesn't, didn't necessarily know that, but he knows the name Relinia, it seems.
Okay.
And if you turn back after you bow and see Sarah's just like kind of smirks a little bit, like she may not have given her last name. Like you just sold her down the river.
Yeah. To be fair, that's not her last name, so it helps.
Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong.
So,
anyone else?
I'm Steven. You can call me Steven.
Xerxes has been listening, but he's kind of combing through all the stuff that Colt set aside, so he's not really engaged in the conversation.
As far as you can tell from the stuff, like there is a good deal of stuff that is in decent condition for this ship in particular, and a good deal of stuff that is like broken, busted, but like a lot of it would be recreatable at a forge or something, and you're kind of like trying to figure out like what would be necessary if you were to do something, like also like could this work for something else, like there's a lot of good stuff here, a lot of good scrap as what you're kind of like picking up on as you're kind of digging through, but nothing like is like the holy grail of anything, but it is like a lot of good stuff that could be used to help in future endeavors, either future airship endeavors or other possibly scrap that, like, even if you don't want, maybe Runt would be interested in, or something of the nature. Pretty decent work they've done so far.
Nice.
So I would go back to, not go back, but kind of return chats back to the conversation of them saying that they got to the door but never actually made it in, and kind of expanded his comment of there's probably just more water behind the door. And I would say, well, we about that door, we did open it and go through.
Which one?
The one at the bottom of the
one
puddle.
you saw us come out of.
So you really did make it all the way down there?
Yeah. The door was trapped by a bunch of laser eyes.
Steven will go and like just kind of light his hands on fire. Like I have some tricks that we're able to take care of the water.
I see. Laser eyes now. That doesn't sound like a normal dwarven creation.
No, and there was kind of a Steven, what'd you call it? A beholder? A door holder?
It was
something that takes away your magical spells or something.
It was a beholder, or at least the likeness of one. put upon the door. And then we saw, once we managed to get inside, we met some other dwarves and also some other beholder-esque creature, of which I'm not yet familiar, but will be soon. Stephen will kind of gesture to I don't remember who all went. I think, well, everyone but him and Clavius. Some of y'all managed to even probe further. I don't know what they saw.
Yeah, we found a second set of doors through this really, 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 really long hallway. And it was like a tower, maybe? But the tower was lined a lot. Honestly, it probably looked like the entire population of Mountain Heart was trapped in these glass capsules.
They looked like eggs. They were pods of some sort, and the dwarves were in there.
The freaky scene in The Matrix.
Ah, I love that movie.
Yeah, you got it now.
No, like you can tell that he's like with you to a point, like the long hallway, and then you start talking about this place, and it's not all like making sense.
Right. Well, so like we got to the end of the hallway and we were expecting to find, the city, but there wasn't a city. There was just a bunch of pink fog and what looked like an infinite tunnel up and down. But we could only see so far.
That doesn't sound like Mountain Heart to me.
So we're not sure. I guess maybe it was some sort of portal? Maybe?
These dwarves you encountered, these were the ones that were...
Same ones.
Yeah, they just kept repeating the same thing all together at once, like they were
Even can't say
under
this,
mind
but
control.
the one in the egg looked different. She was wearing merchant's clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the two that I looked at in the eggs looked like they were, still unchanged.
Was there
Or at least they weren't ready for battle anyway.
any do you think somebody could like draw it, make a map or something? Could be helpful for future endeavors, maybe.
Yeah, Anna can nod and can start sketching based off memory. Sort of.
At that, Stephen would say, it is clear that that entrance was incredibly well defended by many evil things. He'll mention the squid that we seemed to be close to defeating, and then it just disappeared. And then the beholder, and then the beholder-esque creature.
No doubt, whatever they are, will be possibly adding extra protections. And do they have any reason to believe you'd be coming back?
Yeah. Hey, Isabel, didn't you do something to one of the dwarf things that kind of made their head explode?
Poor way to explain it.
Sorry.
I don't know. I don't do this magical thing. You're the doctor.
I attempted to free them from whatever enthrallment they were under, and it seemed to only do them harm.
Xerxes will kind of speak up, looking up from the scrap that he's been going through, and say, I really am no expert in magical things, but there clearly is something not right about that place. What Saru said before about another plane or a portal, it lines up with your guys' account of the silence underneath the city when you were expecting them to come back. It sounds like the enemy must have found a way in and took control from the inside, robbing your brothers of their minds, using the ones that could fight, and trapping the rest in those egg-shaped pods. To what goal, I have no idea. I gave up long ago trying to understand what in the world those creatures actually want. But something is not right under the city.
Something is not right indeed, stout brother Orhart. What we saw in there, simply put, if I may explain it so you can understand, is the consequence of choice. While women and children wept outside of your mountain, their first memory seeing their family crumble under the weight of knowing their protection was gone, the consequence of choice was beginning to take hold. And he takes out his coin and flips it. Colt will notice that it lands on the side of an owl perching atop a skull. The phrase memento mori, memento vivere, you will die, so remember, you must live, gleams up at him out of the sand, and Sclavius continues through clenched teeth, but in a fairly good Dwarven accent. What we saw inside was your brothers trapped. They shut the door. They're inside. And now they're even in a smaller, tighter, confined space. Each of them all alone in their pod, safe from the outside interference of others, not protecting those unable to defend themselves. I will say it very bluntly. What they are experiencing right now is what they wanted. To shut the door and to stay inside. Who are we to not honor their wishes?
Because it might not be their wishes?
And you can see him kind of like this whole time just like growing more and more like angry, kind of like squinting at Clavius.
And who might you be? I don't think I got your name.
You didn't get it because I didn't give it. I'm a denizen of these lands. Someone who did not have the luxury of having a door to close.
Why might you be with this bunch trying to get in? Denizen?
Because you might not appreciate the gravity of the problems this world is facing. But we're doing something far more important than trying to rescue people who don't want to be rescued. The entire world is at risk, And Mountain Heart is a puzzle piece. In my opinion, a small, inconsequential puzzle piece, but one that might provide answers to a larger, more looming threat that will be facing people that are able and willing to fight if they have the knowledge. That's why I'm here, to help this group gather all the knowledge we can. Do you not know right now that there's a chance the celestial realm is empty and a demon lord is trying to ascend to the throne? Could you imagine the calamity? It would make the burning look like a child's play date. The entire world reduced to nothingness. I've seen a vision. There are others here who have seen it as well. Decay, the eating away of everything that lives. No door, no rock is going to stand in its way. You can't cower and hide from it. It's going to come regardless unless we do something. That's why I'm here.
See him kind of look around at some of the surrounding people, some of you all. He's like peering around.
There's always one. So you're here to save the world then?
Well, I'm certainly going to try. I could run, but why? Why cower behind a door? All men must die. If it's today, it's today. But to die another day, old, cowering in fear, I don't think so.
I was once a proud dwarf, you could say. Your words might have stung, might have hurt me, might have driven me to do something about it. But I don't know if I believe everything you're saying. My new denizen. But I respect some of it. They may have cowered behind that mountain. That might be something I'll never know. But I too want to find the knowledge.
Clavius will overtly look at Anna, overtly look at Stephen, and overtly look back at the dwarf and say, you can't choose the family you're born into. You can't choose the clan you're born into. But you can choose the pack that you run with. And we'll pick up his coin.
Fade to black. It's break time. We can jump back in. The dwarves will at some point take a little time to themselves Not like out of like sight or anything like that, but just to converse with one another. Before a couple of them will, mosey back, and if people are kind of still hanging out, or if people are more moving about the area, like doing things, some might offer to help, like if Xerxes is still going through stuff, or if just
When
kind of.
when the dwarves walk away, Anna would like to go to Colt for a minute, and would go, do you think they could be trusted to be invited back to the Hollow if it comes to it? I was hoping they would have some more of a, I don't know, a society or people, but it seems like I don't think there's much of them.
I don't know exactly. Wouldn't exactly be my call. It wouldn't hurt to ask, and maybe we could return or send word of some way. Or I don't know about just bringing them back. But also, I mean, I'm that's a bit lower on that totem pole, if you know what I mean. You have that way to talk with people. Does that work with anyone? We could ask, maybe.
This is a few steps ahead. I just, I don't know. I'm not sure what we're doing next.
It wouldn't be unheard of, obviously. You're all here when we're there. But yeah, if we think that we can trust them, they've been nice enough so far, I guess.
Anna will nod and just sort of. She just kind of wanted to get his temperature on it. And
What else?
Seem like they're kind of like done talking.
I mean, they seem open to talk more, but yeah, for like
They shared the bulk of.
yeah, they're as far as like formal and as far as like questions asked and answered, it doesn't seem like they're ready to like divulge any more information that they, feel like they, want or need to share. But they seem open to talking, but they're just kind of feeling out the situation as the time goes on.
With that, then Steven's gonna pull out that book that I texted you about, Michael. The one on, what's it called?
Oh, aberrations.
Yes, that. The Tome of Aberrations, the Book of Devils.
Don't. Start doing a little reading.
Oh yeah. Specifically on mind flayers, beholders, and the like.
Awesome.
If I can find, an area devoted to that.
Sure. Take some time.
That's what I'll do.
Sift through, see what's in there. What's everybody else up to?
Colin would
what's Isabel doing?
go hang out with the dwarves once they're by themselves. dwarf to dwarf, as it were. But people can be free to do what they want.
I'd like to have an RP conversation with Isabel, but so what is she doing?
She just kind of looks like she's in her own head. Not really working on anything.
So I just sort of imagine Isabel just like sitting down, like kind of just like among the ruins, like just kind of like checked out.
Yeah, she's like probably smoking her pipe or something.
Yeah. And Anna will sit down and just kind of like look at her and then go, you know, I seem to remember this woman who got on Stephen's case for not showing all of his powers. And she'll like, she has like a sly grin on her face to try to make like the comment like as non-threatening as possible.
It's funny you brought that up in the moment. Those words, I thought of those words I said to him. And, yeah, the hypocrisy was real.
Well, a wise man once told me that sometimes a hypocrite is just someone in the process of changing. Lord knows I've done many and far more hypocritical things than you, I'm sure, so no judgment.
I want to count on that.
We can make out a list someday. Take a shot for every action. See who dies first. But
I have to.
One question, maybe multiple. What you did reminded me of the corruption that we're facing. Is it similar?
I don't think I've been corrupted, but I have been getting my hands in things that have been touched by it recently. That's possible. But I think it stems from something older. But I have no way to say for sure. But you're right, it does look eerily similar in some ways.
Is the magic distinctive from your more healing abilities?
They're not things I didn't think to be possible before. I've seen other clerics do, maybe not visually in the same way, but have similar effects. But as far as its similarity with or connection to the type of magic you've seen me use plenty of times over, they may come from the same wellspring, but I have no idea what those are. The gods are gone, and I should be powerless, but I'm not.
Were you able to do that before the burning?
No. Well, are you talking about magic in general, or?
No, the creepy black kind.
Yeah. No. What I can say, the knowledge of that power, that magic spells I used, they only rise to the surface of my thoughts when I feel a deep ire for something, or someone.
So what did you feel an ire for down there?
Those things, myself, for not, or failing, or letting Stephen nearly die. And just, I don't know, this world.
Does it hurt? Or do you just not like how the power makes you feel?
To be honest, that was the first time I've really fully used it. It was more of a numbing than actual pain. But focused. Almost good doing it. And that's the part I'm a little afraid of.
Anna will nod and say, I think it is good to have that fear. I don't mind having the constant reminder that what I'm doing to myself is bad. It's, well, I think it helps keep my mind sharp and remember what it is I'm actually doing. So, I trust you. Do you think that's the sort of thing that should only break open in case of an emergency? I understand.
It's so if I have the wherewithal to only use it then. Later, I am curious. I know it's been a while since we've spoken about it. I'm curious about the way your hemomancy works.
The way my what works? The mancy?
Blood magic.
Oh. Sure, I can run some experiments for you. Or answer any questions you have.
I mean, I don't want to take up too much everyone's time of super long.
Yeah, if you want to shoot me an email, or if other people want to RP.
Yeah. Can do that.
Blood magic.
What else?
If there's a moment where it seems like there's multiple people around, Stephen will put down his book and just kind of, so what now? Mountain Heart is closed off to us, it seems. We go back to the hollow. It's fall, right, Michael?
Fall. It is basically
Yeah. What is Heliac? Is that or High Harvest? Is that October?
check. We are high harvest, right? It is basically October, late October at this point. I should send you all this. It's way more helpful.
Please do. Show off your work.
Well, this is just a Google Doc. But.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about Mountain Heart. It seems wrong abandoning those people to their fate, but it would also be helpful to have more information about what's down there. And if they're truly lost. What I've been thinking about after seeing those pods is the dwarf we spoke with dead, who said he was only, 30 days old or something like that? I thought it was maybe his conversion to the Chaos Legion. But if he had been inside those pods, and then the Mind Flayer, or the, not Mind Flayer, because I don't know what that is, whoever was controlling those pods kicked him out. It makes me think that there could be a connection to whatever's going in the bottom of Mountain Heart and what the Chaos Legion is up to. But we need more information. Getting stuck on the mountain, looking for information, seems like we'll end up as the Donner Party. Might be wiser to head back to the Hollow and meet back up with Arthur and regroup a little bit. If the dwarves have been down there in stasis for 40 years, a few more months may not change anything. Should kind of glance over to Clavius and be like, I do not think that is what all of those people wish for. And, well, take it from me. The people who can make those kind of decisions don't always have the vote of everyone they're making the decisions for. We don't have to do anything about Mountain Heart, but there still might be good information down there, and there still might be a connection to the Chaos Legion, and those pods have me a little shook. Just kind of glance around to see if anybody else responds to Stephen's comments.
The connection that you're talking about, Anna, goes beyond just Briarwood and Mountain Heart. I think you're forgetting something that's rather close to home, which is that your aunt is even crazier than normal. No offense, of course. If that doesn't ring like mind control or something is clearly shaping wills across the entire land. I think these are not disconnected. But the craziness amongst your family, the enslavement of the dwarves here, and whatever the heck is going on in Briarwood with the Unseen and the Chaos Legion, It all seems like the same brand of nonsense to me. It reminds me of what the dwarves just told us, that the invaders, they were not just primal and instinctual, but they were also tactical. And this seems like a conceited effort to weaken the leaders of the land. And that, frankly, terrifies me. Not that I had much confidence in our leaders, don't get me wrong, but that kind of structure is helpful in repelling a coordinated attack. I can tell you that much. So I don't know if we need to necessarily storm Mountain Heart, although I must admit, sounds pretty cool. But I don't think anything that we do would be disconnected from the larger goal to figure out what the heck is poisoning this land and end it and bring about prosperity once again.
Anna will nod and say, "You have a good mind for these things, Xerxes. I hadn't thought about connecting them all together. Those are disparate threads, but you're right. If your main goal..." She'll kind of like glance over to Isabel and be like, "was to use this land as a launching pad to take over the celestial realm, you would need to make sure that none of the powerful people could stop you." And don't worry, I have thought about that we're going to need all of the Veil to fend off this threat, and that includes Greyforge. And the only way Greyforge isn't looking out for itself is if my aunt is no longer ruling it.
Well, it's become clear to me since my escape that I was created to destroy the rules of Briarwood. And while that is not my goal, I'm more than happy to use my talents and skills to put you on the throne of Greyforge, if that's what you want, Anna.
Anna will shake her head and say, "There was a time when I probably would have behaved like the Unseen if I could have gotten my hands on your powers, but currently that sounds horrible, but it also, there's nobody else." And she's like, exactly what I'm doing, and she's like kind of like rubbing her eyes and being like, so Ronnie can't do it. If she will always be looking for her own advantage, we could rally everybody to the cause. And she thought so small during the incursion. All her thinking was how to strengthen Greyforge, how to strengthen Greyforge, how to strengthen Greyforge, how to take over the Veil. She would sabotage our efforts. So that is an option. And she'll kind of like glance back to Sarah and see if what her face looks like. This conversation of murder and treason.
She has a decent poker face, but not an incredible one. She's definitely like not necessarily surprised. But also not necessarily expecting all of it. But for the most part, she seems to be kind of like nodding along and backing up the thoughts about Selrani specifically being like blinded and that she would get in our way. She seems to be behind what you're saying for at least some of it, as far as
Steven, does that book tell you anything about that brain walker thing? By chance?
Hasn't told me anything yet, Michael, or do I need to read some more?
Yeah, you'll need to spend more time with that.
Not yet. I have an idea of what it is, but I wanna read more to make sure I'm right before, speaking it out loud. Either way, I think we can all be assured it's a very evil thing.
Michael, can I do probably like a history check to see if I ever encountered such, odd that would stand out. A freaking
That
brain
thing?
with legs.
Yeah, you can roll an Arcana check if you wish.
I'm more like trying to remember the past than like identify it. You know what I mean?
You can roll a history. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not trying to identify it. I just want to know if I
Sure.
remember.
Nothing rings a bell. That thing is weird.
It is weird.
Very
I
weird.
kind of figured that was the case, but I wanted to try.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's I might be the only one, but if the opportunity allows, I want to return to the Planeswalkers Tower at Paragus Lake. If we head back south, we found the books on aberrations there, and we saw the same teleportation sigil that we did in Yofun's sphere on the top floor, and perhaps there'll be more answers on that first floor that was shrouded in darkness that we could now uncover. But that is a ways down the road. I think we're all on the same page of returning to the Hollow.
Nick, are you having a conversation with the Dwarfy people, or are you just hanging out with them
I was gonna have
for comfort? Okay.
having a conversation with him. No rush.
I would walk over to them probably after Nick's conversation, or not interrupting in any way, but just basically to be like, so what are your guys' plans now? If I didn't already discuss that when I was rebooting.
Oh, you rebooted?
Yeah, right before you guys took your break.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
he bounced off for a second.
It was right when Clavius was pissing off
Okay.
Leader Dwarf.
Hell yeah.
And when did you come back?
Probably after
You guys were
Clavius
on break.
died. Probably after he killed Clavius.
Okay. Right after that.
Shit.
Finally, thank the Lord.
Somebody could finally do it.
Because we've been generally talking about like what we want to do next. And
I'm not. No, not you guys. I want to know what the dwarves are doing.
I know, but Nick hasn't even had his conversation with the dwarves yet.
I know. That's why I was saying. That's why I was asking him if he was going to have his conversation or not. Because I was
Yeah.
trying to say, I was going to ask the dwarves what they're going to do now, and that can happen either before or after that conversation.
All right, let's see what old Dvalin's got, and see if that influences what they're going to say to Saru. So I don't have to retcon. So while yeah,
throw him off the mountain.
so while you guys are conversing about Isbel and maybe what your next steps are, Stephen kind of looking through the book, and you guys all talking about all that. Dvalin approaches the dwarves.
Wanted to offer my apologies for not stepping up. Introducing myself earlier. It's not that I didn't intend to, it's more I haven't seen a mountain heart dwarf since I was locked out of the city myself. And it seemed to have hit my head rather hard at some point. I've got quite a lot of missing memories. A lot of fleeting grayness in between any of the memories I've still got left. I can barely remember Mountain Heart as I knew it once. All I know is the world we live in now. But I do take solace in knowing that you lot are out here, and there might be hope that others are too. I know my name's Dwalin. Not entirely sure my clan. Not entirely sure much past that. But I'm pretty good in a fight. And I hope to be dependable. It's a pleasure to be in your service.
Hi, it's nice to meet you, Dvalin. Can I ask you something? How long you been traveling with this bunch?
What's canon? Like a week and a
Yeah,
half?
definitely not long.
Like about
Not even that, like 5 days, I
Yeah.
think.
It's not been long. I was shepherding some. What'd you call them? The unthinkers? No thinkers.
Something like that. It was in the moment thing. I don't remember exactly what I call them.
No, I really like the free thinkers. I enjoy them.
Thralls.
Trolls, definitely that.
I was shepherding a group of them back to the upper city. It's kind of what I've been doing to pass the time every once in a while and kind of clean up the veil. But that lot over there actually attacked me. Killed off all those I was shepherding. Seems it wasn't necessarily malicious of them. They're just a bit trigger happy at times. They usually shoot before they introduce themselves, so I'm glad we really didn't come to a head back at the cave. That would have been really awkward for me. Anyhow, it's only been less than a week, but not sure where things will take us from here. But all the same, glad to make your acquaintance.
Said you had some grey spots in your past. Some memories lost, Dwalin.
Quite a lot of them. I know that I used to live in Mountain Heart. I know I had family. I know I've fought in plenty of battles.
Aye.
Bits and pieces I can remember. Then I remember the great flash of light. And waking up in what seemed like a different time and a different place, maybe. But waking up all the same.
How long you been in the valley here?
I don't rightly know. I haven't quite been able to figure a a time. I've got contact with those in the Hollow. But I'm not rightly sure I know how much time has transpired. Frankly, I couldn't tell you the year if I had to.
Time passes a bit different now. It seems. So you've been with this bunch 5 days, Dwalin?
Something like that. That I can remember.
It's good.
Very good short-term memory.
He kind of looks you like square in the eye. Gets pretty close to you.
Memories will come back, Dwalin. You can count on that.
And he like puts an arm like on your shoulder and like really makes eye contact with you for a moment. And then just kind of walks by you and starts walking back to the group where he's runs into Saru. Just bang! As Saru is walking over. To ask them about what their plans are. And he responds,
I don't rightly know what the next moves are exactly. Obviously, you don't seem to be being able to make your contact, so I presume you'll be heading back south then, back to Briarwood.
I don't know if we'll be heading back that way. We don't really have a reason to go back there, I don't think. We'll probably be heading more westish.
West.
Do you guys have a plan or direction?
Well, ultimate goal is to, as I said, get below, find out what's happened. And I've been meaning to ask you, so that water trick, is that something you can teach?
I think it was a spell he cast, so I don't know. I guess if one of you guys can learn spells, but I don't know how magic works, so that's a question you'd have to ask
Are
Steven.
you Yeah, Anna would look and say, yeah, that is. Do you have any casters in your mix?
kind of takes a look back.
We might be able to figure something out. Udo.
And Udo and Addis kind of start moseying forward.
Udo here knows a trick or two. Ain't that right?
And Udo, which is the one missing the legs, riding on the hippogriff, kind of like nods and smiles.
Yeah, I know a thing or two about magics. And if you were able to get below using that spell, you say, we might be interested in exchanging information, exchanging help, as it were.
And he kind of like puts his hand like on a book that he has at his, kind of pulls out out of his pack.
Maybe a trade could be in order if west is the way you're all heading. We're not looking to head that west, so
I mean, I know I'm gonna probably try to talk you out of something that's near and dear to your heart, but I mean, the 7 of us struggled once we got down to the bottom of that cavern. I don't know if I feel good letting you guys go do it alone. If that's your goal. I mean, it'd be better suited for you guys to maybe, I don't know, either stick with us or we could reconvene and maybe go down together once we have a better idea of what we're dealing with as far as the Tower of Eggs or whatever. I just don't, I mean, I saw how my buddy here wasn't very well suited for water. I can't imagine the 4 of you guys will be any more suited for it.
I said before, dwarves aren't good swimmers, but so far it might be our best option. As it seems you're all very accomplished, you're all very good at what you do and trying to save the world, as it were. And I can't see us heading to Greyforge.
I think Grey Forge to the east.
Was that a can or cannot?
Oh, you guys said west.
Yeah,
What the fuck is west of here? Is there something west?
the hollow. I mean, they're just using that as like the
Oh, west.
general
I see.
direction of the hollow.
West. So
Do
the
you need to
hollow.
retcon the last 120 seconds?
Yeah. So he. Yeah. Sorry, I'm like totally backwards. So west of your current location is actually like Mountain Heart.
Oh, so southwest?
South.
Yeah. So if you're talking about the hollow south, which if you're talking south, he's a little bit more interested in what you're saying.
Then yeah, I was basically trying to say that way without being like, oh, there's this secret cave city
Sure. All right.
that
Yeah.
you may or may not know about. It's guarded by a dragon.
Apologies. Let's retcon a little bit.
Oh yeah,
You're
I
good.
would.
I was just thinking we were not as far north.
Did
as
they
we
mention
were.
anything about
I'll
the
s-
hollow?
I'll show you the map.
Dvalin would have been privy to give up that information so quickly.
I guess we
Um,
did go like straight up, yeah.
Yeah, so they don't seem to know of the hollow, and even in your like mentioning it, if you would have mentioned it, they don't seem to know what that is. So it's
It's this place I made up.
but yeah. So if you're saying south is where you're headed,
Yes.
but saying you're not going to Briarwood, they're going to inquire about where south if you're not going back to Briarwood.
I would say, well, Steven just mentioned going back to where Paragus Lake is. We kind of explored a tower that was there and found a couple sigils and things that we've come across again. That might be something to look into, keep connecting the dots. Check on Bray.
Is there a
Considering we kind of
reason?
sort of
This is
Gotta
meta.
keep
Is
it
there a
different.
reason we're not wanting to tell them about the hollow?
Anna's, I mean, meta. Yeah, I mean, Anna's like
yes.
actively
Okay,
debating.
I was just
it.
checking.
Well, no, Anna's actively debating. Just like she kind of wants to like part of her like wants to like be like Avengers assemble and just be grabbing people like left and right and
Sure.
like take charge and act like we already own the hollow, you know, and use it as our
We're
base
about to.
and collect all our friends, you know. But then part of the struggle is like do we have the right to do that?
Gotcha. That wasn't a criticism, by the way, Barla. I wanted to make sure I was tracking. Yeah, that makes sense.
But she's like very in the conversation, and the conversation with Colt didn't help because he felt so like insecure about it.
Well, meta-wise,
He's lower on the totem pole than you.
I know he's lower.
They covered our heads when we first went in, so you would know that and could think like, okay, well, say Chaudhry is like WTF is like, well, let's just cover their heads like they did for us, and the lady can do her thing, and so
okay. That legitimately helps. So thank you for reminding of that. So as like Saru, let's say it's like Saru is up there, like
I think we're all just talking together, right?
No.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure as Saru starts talking to him, people might start filing.
I guess, yeah, if you guys walk over, I suppose, yeah.
Well, Anna's kind of been wanting to do this anyways, and she can have her conversation with the Lady of the Hollow later. But thank you. I can imagine like her maybe like whispering to Steven to be like, do you think we invite them to the Hollow? And then Steven like is like, well, we can just cover their heads.
Yeah.
Like relays that information, and it's like that light clicks of like, that's right. And she will step up and she will say, we are nervous about sending you down there right now because we think we will be sending you to your deaths and potential allies. If we felt like we could truly handle what was down there, we wouldn't have come back up. But we're not ready. We don't know enough. So, there is a city of sorts, hidden. We have been there. We have helped them. They help us. I think it might be wise for you all to join us as we head back south. Nobody wants to be stuck up on this mountain in the winter. And if in a few months you need to go back to Mountain Heart and we go somewhere else, then not much time will have been wasted. But you could get strong, you could gain information, knowledge, train, maybe recruit allies in the process. We are not in charge of the city, but I think we could ensure you at least getting fair travel and a chance to go there. But you will probably have to be, well, blindfolded, at least at first, as we were. And she'll kind of like glance over to Udo and say, and I have no idea what they'll do about the hippogriff.
He smirks and kind of pets the thing at that.
This is an interesting development. Can I ask you, are you really here on behalf of Briarwood, or are you here on behalf of this city? Or is it true that you're just denizens of this land and here on behalf of yourselves?
It's kind of both.
Briarwood sent us, but She kind of like glances around it and be like, we come from different walks of life, and we just all happen to be at Briarwood at the same time. Seemed like you recognized my last name, at least enough to know that I wasn't born in Briarwood. Ties elsewhere.
Yes, I've heard of your family. That's for sure.
Anna will nod, and the Hollow took us in when we were... Well, we have reason to feel threatened by the Briarwood as well, truly. But the city took us in. So, and has given us a harbor. So you could say maybe at this point, and she'll like kind of glance over to Clavius and be like, we are truly denizens of this land, trying to save it. Because nobody else seems to give a shit.
Well, I can speak for all of us when I say that we at least give a few shits. Let us have a bit of a chat, and we'll talk about going to this city of yours then.
Probably getting close to dark, right?
Yeah, it's probably been the afternoon at this point.
Yeah. I just you hit early evening last time you hit the calendar, so
Yeah. So yeah, they're gonna spend some time talking to one another about things, and as the darkness kind of begins to overcome the valley, assuming you guys are staying here for the evening, as you've had the longest day.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah.
4 sessions, 1 day.
Yeah, it will be the 18th for a long time. If there's anything anyone wants to accomplish before maybe bed is time, and you get the sense that these guys are going to kind of stay out here. Emil offers a place for everyone to sleep inside and all that stuff, but also knows that you guys have your own ways of doing things too.
Oh yeah, Anna's going in the hut.
Button it up. So yeah, if there's anything else that anyone wants to do or interact with anyone else before.
This is mainly meta because it's
the
going
sun
to
sets.
inform Steven's choice as we level up here in a minute.
Dun, 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 dun.
We have never officially solved the text of the Greyforge letter, right?
No, we did. Isabel speaks Celestial, and that's where we got the term Vicinid from.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. And then you kind of parsed it out somewhat.
Yeah, you parsed it out.
Cool. I'll go back and find it then.
Michael, I actually did have something I wanted to say to the dwarves, but now it seems like the time has passed. But I think within the conversation of
Absolutely.
what are we doing next?
Sure.
Xerxes would ask them, I know that it's been your goal to reach the Undercity for quite some time. I know we just found one way in, but I don't say this lightly. It doesn't seem very promising to get past the pink fog. I really don't understand it. It's not stone or wood any longer. In your travels up here, or your time in Mountain Heart, did you guys ever come across a way or a possible way in that you've abandoned for some reason? Maybe it was too dangerous or too hard to get to. I know you're all capable warriors, but we do outnumber you, and those numbers have an advantage. We may have a way to reach an area you thought impossible.
You see him kind of thinking it over for a moment, and he brings up again, like that they've been to the main entrance of the city, and that they've explored a lot of caverns, some that have even led to the Underdark and vast areas beneath, looking for possible ways into the city.
There was one other. There's an old entrance. It was a proving ground. It was a proving ground before me, before any of them. Called it the Spire. We looked at it for a while. There's a possibility. We thought maybe it was out of the reach of whatever's watching from the city. I don't think they know it exists. At least they don't understand how it works. But couldn't find our way in.
Does Spire ring a bell from that book that I read?
Yeah, it does.
Do I still have that book?
I think you might, or it might be at the Hollow. I'm not sure. You at least read it. You read it at the Hollow, yeah. So I don't know if you still have it on your person, but you would know that it would be in the bookstore, the library, but I can't remember its name.
Irwin.
I remember his name. I don't remember the name of the bookstore.
Oh.
Candlelight Books, maybe? Something like that.
That sounds right.
I could say
maybe that's like a real book.
Boom! Candlelight Books.
Nice.
I don't think
Estwin Rudolph.
I don't think Clavius would mention that book as there to them. But somebody else, if they, like I talked about the book, if somebody else.
Yeah, and the book just had a passing mention of it.
How does the Spire work?
Well, as I said, I don't rightly know. It was a proving ground for, for types like you, as I'm to understand. And Udo here. Yeah. I'm not one to, talk badly on my good friend Udo, but we couldn't find a way in. Well, we weren't sure if we were ready for what we might find inside. There's always a lot of legend about a place like that. Place that the wizarding type used to use as a proving ground to show their skills and there were a lot of powerful dwarven mages in the times before, the Age of Heroes, as it were. And that place fell to fell to the times. It was unused. And, well, I say it's haunted. Haunted by those fallen mages from a time ago.
Is his concept of like a proving ground ringing any sort of bells for Steven?
Roll either a history or arcana if you want.
They are the same.
So with that, Anna, there is something there that rings like distant bells, as far as like in times kind of well before this one, when magic was a lot more rampant than it was now.
Mm-hmm.
These types of like basically like maze-like structures were like created for would-be like adventuring wizard types to kind of like show their skill and their mettle, and
But it connects that like so like when I first heard like proving ground, I almost thought like a Coliseum style, but this was like Anna's like racking her memory, like racking like what she's been told, like like old lectures. She's like sifting through her mind,
sure,
and it is
yeah.
like a maze that you need a high powered wizard to get through,
like
or high powered like magic users to solve the puzzles that are
sure,
in there.
yeah, almost like for meta terms, like a funhouse dungeon or something.
Yeah.
Like just something like that doesn't necessarily make sense that like it would be there, or it would like things would exist as they would, but it was literally meant to like, yeah, if you make it out the other side, you are a like a godlike adventurer, for lack of a better term. Like you are amazing, like you've done it. It's kind of something that's fallen to the wayside in times that but back in quote unquote the age of heroes, which has been referenced before, that's kind of like in the metaverse, like my version of like really old school D&D style shit is like that, and maybe we'll experience that.
It's a really good like fantasy prequel series to called The Age of Heroes, and it was actually one that Amanda referenced, so it's kind of funny.
To say, yeah. So that's kind of the idea behind that. Steven, not so sure. Probably didn't cover that.
An assassin training.
Yeah, while training to be a stealthy murderer wizard. No.
Michael, so I'm clear. This is an actual spire that they know the location of that connects to the Undercity in some way. They think.
Yeah, at least it did. And that it seems they believe that it over the many years that it's gone in unuse, they're not really sure what the current thing is, and they were trying to locate the way into it.
So when they say like they don't know how it works, they mean they can't really even get in to
they don't
tower.
They don't know how to get in, but they seem to think that they know whereabouts it is or the general location of it. They don't know how to get in. Maybe they don't know exactly where the entrance or how to find the entrance. They know its general location, and he's kind of like saying like, well, Udo isn't super powerful as a mage, so we're not even sure what would have come of it if what was inside. But yeah, he also referenced that that whatever lies in the city had eyes on that location as well for some, but isn't sure if it knows like of the structure itself. They've referenced that a few times, that like being within the view of the city in some way, shape, or form is not a good thing.
Right. I have Sauron thing going on.
Kind of. That's what. Yeah.
Would they be willing to mark it on a map? Or seal assess?
Yeah. Where would you please? They are possibly willing to do so, but not right away willing to do so. I don't know exactly when this conversation took place in the grand scheme of everything.
I think during the like most recent Anna Saru conversation. That was where I was thinking.
So yeah, they're like they might be open to sharing its location, divulging its location, but they're also still trying to figure out exactly what your guys' plan are, and you know, seeing where things go before they let go of a possible something that you guys might want.
They also, sorry, Nate, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I won't RP it out, but Xerxes would just say that when they say that we're committed to saving the world, LOL, we're so corny, that Mountain Heart would be included in that. So we are also interested in kind of getting rid of the evil that lurks in the place, which is why we would be interested in knowing, you know, potentially trying to help them out, basically.
Yeah, he's definitely seems open to it. You get the feeling that he'd almost rather show you than to just give you a location.
Right, and then Xerxes would say like, there's a whole like XP sponge things going on, and like it's just easier.
I'm really trying to level up, man.
Easier if you guys stay at the town.
There's fucking 4 of you in a hippogriff. I don't know how much hippogriff's XP sponge. Like
shit. A lot, probably.
It could.
Although that one guy probably only half.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He only needs half, actually. He only needs half XP to level up. So that's the benefit of that.
Did they mention that there were tunnels that connected to the Underdark?
They did, yeah. In that conversation.
That like the dwarves made like long ago, or that do they know when those were created?
They're not rightly sure. Like they would, if you're asking them directly about those. Like he believes some may have happened like over time, like shifting over time. None of them were man-made or dwarf-made. These were like caverns that they stumbled upon.
God, okay. I heard it as dwarf made, and that was going to take the conversation to a different place. But
no,
okay,
as far as they know, the tunnels that they explored specifically were like natural caverns that you know, things
natural fault
shifted
line that connects.
Exactly.
Got it. Cool.
Like when you're digging around in Minecraft looking for diamonds and you hit a mine shaft.
Yep.
I knew somebody would be into that as Nick starts dancing.
And you mentioned like us just wandering into places and insta dying. The Underdark seems like just skull and crossbones. Don't do it. Don't go down there. You may have said that drow don't exist. I don't believe you. No one knows what's down there. Don't do it.
Not enough digging straight down in D&D.
Yeah, find that bedrock, baby. Just dig straight down. Lava pool. Gotta do what you gotta do.
You respawn. I'll give you that, but you lose everything.
But you lose everything. It's basically the same as D&D. But you respawn as someone else.
But you don't lose everything.
You can. You can lose everything. Just depends how much stuff you're carrying and if your party picks it up.
All right, that's all Steven has. For bed.
Or Betty Bye.
And he will mention he would be interested in sharing information
Dope.
as well. Especially the spell kind.
Especially the spell kind. Everybody loves the spell kind.
Xerxes is going to make bullets before we go to bed for what that's worth.
Classic.
So I'll roll that up.
Wow. Best roll of the night?
I think so.
Guys, it gets me 50 bullets. That's a big deal.
Whoa. Well, if there's nothing else before bedtime, the night passes.
Stephen.
Oh, God damn it. Don't. Ignore that. It's not the real thing.
Over the course of, because we didn't, I'm sure, go straight to bed.
Yeah.
Do you think you would have had the time to copy Dimension Door?
Oh yeah, you could do that. You could do that if you got the stuff for it, which I think you do. You got
I do.
ass ton of money. The time will pass, and you will wake up the next day, and I know at least Dwarven is leveling up, as he's been wanting to do for the past 18 sessions.
15 sessions, something like that.
Good God. And you will have the hut, so.
10 Zowny. Ooh.
Oh, my. 10 Zoni. Well, yours is better. Add your con bonus.
Lovely.
8's good. 8's solid. But yeah, you have the hut, so feel free to get that health back, full up, top off. These boys get to do that too.
So nobody's going to ask this dude about his legs, is what I'm starting to pick up on.
I mean, you've already been outed as the dwarf dickbag,
Yeah,
so
you've already insulted them. You might as well just go for the knees. I mean,
You can't. Doesn't have them.
Literally impossible to hit him below the belt.
Might as well kick him in the shins.
So the night will pass, and you'll wake up in the morning, and eventually I'll move outside at some point as Llewellyn's just feeling extra strong. To what is
Getting
it?
the muscle.
It's a mild fall day. And the air is still, and the sky is overcast. So there you go. It's a gray day, as it were. And as soon as Anna comes out, Storvin Orhart will approach her first, and
we've decided to accompany you, at least for now, and maybe we can benefit each other. And if our paths lead a different way in the coming weeks, months, then we'll split up then. But for now, I think your hidden city sounds like it could lead us one step closer.
oh God, Steven's mentioned doors. Where is he going?
Sorry, wrong button.
Anna nods and say, I think that is a wise choice. let us return and start to head back south. And she'll want to go find a meal before we start leaving.
Yeah, he'll emerge at some point too and kind of walk out. My dog just rolls around making noises on the ground.
I assume you're going to stay here.
Yes, I feel as this is my place. At least for now.
Anna will nod and say, if we do not come back here, I will send someone for you. So, it may be months, years, but don't give up. We will get you back home.
He nods and
Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance. The things, will you be taking them, or would you like me to store them? I can continue taking this large ship apart if it will do you well in the future.
She'll call over Colt and Xerxes and say, Emil is offering to store the parts of the airship and continue to take it apart. Were you hoping to take back what you've already salvaged? And would it be helpful for him to keep pulling at it?
Honestly, most of the parts seem like they could be replicated. It may be nice to have an intact structure in case we needed to look back on it. But what we've done so far is helpful in proving that. So, well done, the two of you.
they high five.
Are you going to take what you've already?
Perhaps just a few pieces. I don't think the rest of this easily replicated. Honestly, I'm not entirely certain that the flight component came from the ship itself. It largely seems to be a water ship in many ways. I think the real key lies in the strange mechanical creature that we found yesterday.
We did find that creature yesterday.
I think it was yesterday, 5 weeks ago.
It might have been the day before. I think we slept.
Yeah, you did. Maybe
Right
it was
after
3
finding
days
it.
ago. I think you're right. You slept once. The dragon lair, I think.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I often am. Wasn't one of the people in the hollow? Didn't they? Like, it wasn't just cults that wanted. Like, isn't there something we're supposed to get from the ship?
The guy at
The Dragonborn guy.
the Dragonborn guy at the shop, apothecary, he built that little weird model.
Yeah, he would like anything weird probably from the ship, like any like salvageable pieces of metal that were like interesting or strange. Like he was into tinkering, he just wasn't that good at it. So if you bring him basically anything from the ship, he might pay for that. That
Well,
was a
Then we probably should take a little bit of it, but we're we're mainly weighed down by gold, so we can't really take too much of it.
Yeah, it's like, how much of this stuff do we need to get more gold?
How much stuff can we actually carry? I can take some of it.
Okay, so you'll grab what you want to grab, and you're sort of telling Emil that he doesn't really need to tear it apart if he doesn't want to. Like,
Yeah, just keep it.
you've learned what you need to learn.
Yeah.
So he'll probably, package up some of the crap that you're not taking that was already pulled off the thing, and by package I mean spin it into a cool bundle of web and then move it inside.
Did we ask him about the key? If he saw like something that would insert into the chest?
We
did
did
right?
ask him to look for the key.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah,
That's where that Orby thing came from. I
They
believe.
both went back to look for that as they're digging that thing apart, and nothing was found. But he will kind of continue.
Keep looking.
Yeah, keep looking for it.
Well, I will take the parts that I find interesting, and some parts for Dragonborn guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sure you can fit at least 25 pounds of shit on you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll add it in here.
Yeah, I think you should be fine. Yeah, you can.
Ship parts.
Ship parts.
I don't know if that's adding to my encumberment or not. Oh, that's because I added 25 ship parts. Actually, I'll add 25 ship parts at 1
At 1
apiece.
pound apiece. Boom.
There we go. I'm not heavily encumbered, so I'm okay, right? That's how that works.
You're good. You good. Cool. Anything else here?
I think mainly thank yous and all that.
Cool. Yeah,
Off
Emil
we go.
will say his goodbyes to all of you, and hoping to see the group of you again at some point. As you begin your descent, I presume, to go back.
Mm-hmm.
To the hollow. Just bunch some people together here, because there's a lot of people right now.
Does Udo fly?
Well, Udo doesn't, but Addis
But
does.
on the hippogriff.
Yeah, he does. He gets down the mountain rather quickly.
At not necessarily down the mountain, but at one point, Steven 1,000,000% casts fly and is flying beside him and trying to make some conversation about magic stuff.
He will absolutely geek out over magic stuff. Roll a persuasion check.
Oh.
Charisma wasn't the, or was charisma the dump stat?
No, it's definitely strength.
Fair.
Well, yeah, the whole party dumps strength. Remember?
Yep, there we go. That.
Nice.
How about an Arcana check? Because we're talking magic.
It would have been a 1 either way. Turns out. So yeah, you guys talk for a while, and he seems totally interested in like talking about magic and all kinds of stuff, but he just doesn't divulge any tidbits that you could have uncovered, and you have to live with that.
I'll be trying again. Don't worry. It's a long journey back to the hollow.
Nice, Kivit.
Since he's away, can I ask Storvin what happened to his legs?
Roll a persuasion check, Bard.
Man, you've rolled shit on persuasion all day. That's like your
Yeah,
best
thank
roll.
you.
And that's
Yeah, I
10.
know.
Plus 10.
Plus 10 is
Storvin kind of gets serious, and
It happened happened during the incursion. One of those primordials cast a spell. Turned his legs to dust before he could stop it.
Well, you're lucky that you stopped it just at his legs.
I didn't stop it, but yes, yeah, he's quite lucky, I'd say. Quite.
Storvin Dwarven is very good. That's his name, Storvin Dwarven. You guys get down the mountain just fine. Because reasons. And we'll start your journey back in the direction. I think it's a 3-dayer. It's a little over 3 days to get back.
Croft, are you going to email me your questions?
Yeah, I was planning on it.
Cool. What if you group me your questions and we stop the conversation via just subject everyone?
I love it. Just a back and forth in the old group me.
D&D at home.
Yeah.
Very good. We're gonna do like a little bit of fast forward. So anything that you guys want to talk to them about, or anything of that nature, you can think of over the next whatever amount of time.
Anna would want to ask them if they. No, never mind. I think she got. They kind of gave us a lot of information about Storrow Town, how it was just gone. I guess the question would be, like, have they been back, or have they just hung up north the whole time? Did they ever go back to see what it was like?
So roll an insight check. They say. Let me roll. So they say, like, no, that they've never been. They've been here since they haven't been back to Storrow Town, and that feels truthful. And there's something in them saying, like, they after they returned and returned from Moranth, and kind of awaited the trap that they were talking about, that never got set. They talk just, like, mainly, like, we fought in the war, and for the most part we stayed up north, and we've been basically in the valley for the most part, is what they kind of keep coming back to, is that we've spent a lot of time in the valley, especially these last couple of years, and they seem to hammer that home a bit, maybe more often than like someone naturally would, but that's kind of all you can get.
Okay.
Steven will ask if that guy wants to swap spells.
He is absolutely interested, and over the course of you guys like spending time traveling together over the next few days, you get the sense that he wants to do it when you get back, just as it's easier. But he would divulge like some of the shit that like he'd be, really
Ooh,
excited.
can Anna look at the spell
Great
list
and
too?
shit. Yeah, he does have some shit. I'll pull him up real quick. What's he got? I don't know the things that you guys have. His book has charm person, mage armor, magic missile, alarm, detect magic, identify, hold person, invisibility, suggestion, levitate, fireball, haste, tongues, dispel magic, fly, dominate beast, stone skin, hold monster, and cone of cold. That's his book.
Ooh. Okay.
So yeah, over some time
got some
talking with
stuff.
him, yeah, he's pretty stoked on like the possibility of learning some new stuff. He hasn't done it in a really long time, but yeah, also he'd be happy to do some exchanging,
Cool.
especially if it helps him and his bros in the future.
Steven's like,
Yeah.
I'm glad we negotiate water breathing, the spell that I'm so attached to.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Stephen will then just be spending every possible moment reading the Tome of Aberrations.
Dope.
What is Clavius's demeanor since we woke up and started walking and moving?
He's fine. He's trying to not so well. It might be subtly. Hold on. Let me just see. I would say not so subtly because that's probably what will happen. He's very adeptly buttering up Colt to make sure he's first in line for the tattoos when we all get back. Reminding him of the good times of the handy haversack saving and how now they're really, really tight. And technically, since he does have some rubies, it will take him the least amount of time probably to accumulate. So just, talking about he's already got the gold in his backpack, cash, no installment plan. And depending on where we are, he will lobby very heavily to the point of saying, well, if nobody else does it, he's going to do it. And it's right on the way of stopping through Dale Ridge on the way back. But he's fine, like, as long as he's not talking to the dwarves.
Okay, that's good enough.
I did advance the day one too much. So 2 days will eventually, pass cleanly. You'll only have to worry about the plant portion, which the dwarves will fly over, and you guys have kind of already managed to do it once, so you will be able to get through that again, unless there's any like really like harsh ones for you all to really just jump in there and kill some plants or something. But you guys will be able to get around that obstacle fairly easily, as you've accomplished it once before. And you will come to, at the end of the second day, this bridge here, the bridge.
Real quick before that, Michael.
Yeah.
Sorry. At some point, Stephen would just kind of ask, "Did we ever hear from Arthur? Did he make it to the Hollow?"
That's a good point.
Just because he
I
specifically
totally
said
forgot
he
about
was
that.
planning on.
Arthur would likely have gotten back at you because I think the last thing that you said to him was like, "We're all about to die."
Yeah, we would have checked in the next day.
So I assume he or you would have checked in the next day, been like, "Are you still alive?" LOL,
Question
yeah.
mark.
New stone owner. Who this?
Excuse me. Did you kill my friends?
Dwarven sentinels reply.
You should not have brought this stone to Mountain Heart. It is not welcome here.
What the hell happened down there?
Yeah. Assuming that there was some conversation there that happened. I'm not sure who struck first, whether you would have done it the next morning or Arthur would have been like, "Yo, are you guys alive?"
You up?
But contact would have been made. So I don't know if meta-wise there's a particular way that you guys want it to unfold, but I don't. It doesn't really matter for posterity reasons. But I assume you would have made contact and you would have learned. Arthur would have learned that you are alive, indeed, alive, that you did survive your dilemma, and that maybe that you're on your way back. And Arthur would have said that he arrived at the Hollow in the morning. And it's good to know that you're not dead, I guess. Or something along those lines.
That was it. In those words.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
And he didn't have an accent. It was weird.
Perfect.
So on the end of the 2 days of not being molested by anything, Clavius lobbying to go through Dale Ridge, and Colt would also mention that they've been often known to like spend the night there. It's like kind of the last stopping point. So you would basically arrive there by the end of the day if that's your game. That's where you're trying to go.
Sure.
Good.
So as you start approaching the city, or I say city, it's more of a very small town. And as you're walking up, it's pretty forested area, next to the lake and kind of at the base of the mountains here. Pretty good deal of forest, though a lot of it is overgrown. You can tell that this town probably cleared out a good portion of the woods nearby, as they're kind of parked here next to the lake. But as you start to get closer, you can start to see these structures. Nothing fancy, nothing large, but these small stone, like the bases of buildings, basically. These there's some wood, but it does look pretty broken, pretty overgrown. There's a lot of vines kind of climbing up the sides of some of these very broken buildings, and this is kind of the main portion of the city. Main portion of the village, kind of like what you would equate to like the main street. So like there are 10, 12 buildings in this area. And as you look around, like through more woods and tall grass, you can see kind of in the distance, like there are probably a few more like homesteads kind of like parked further out, a little more spaced out. Maybe there's a one that was more of a farming area over here. Maybe there's a mill somewhere down the way. Like it's a small village, and it's pretty spaced out. But this kind of area that you're like just kind of walking up into seems like it's kind of the main region, as the sun is kind of like starting to set after the final basically the final day before getting to the last day. Tomorrow you'll basically reach the hollow by, I don't know, 5. So as you're kind of like walking up to this city, I keep saying city, this Dale Ridge, this town, small village that has seen much better days. Is there anything anybody wants to do?
Clavius, is this what you were expecting?
He'll mutter under his breath. It's the consequence of choice, just not my choice. Cast his eyes over at the dwarves. Hopefully they didn't hear that. Are there any people? Is it completely deserted?
Make a perception check. So as you guys are walking up on the city, like it is so overgrown. These buildings, most of them don't fully like form shelters at this point. There are just these walls and these small, stone structures, and it feels like it's been abandoned here for a long time. And as Clavius starts kind of looking around, in the distance, you see what you thought was movement. Maybe 80 feet beyond like the edge of the village. So at this point where you are, I mean, it's over 400 feet away, and just the faintest of like shadow of movement beyond the village and the trees. You see something.
Colt, you said travelers stay here. Is it safe?
Yeah, it's safe. We just when we're out, the gods of the Hollow, we just often will stick here. There could be someone here now, and should probably let it be known that we're about. We've not known really anyone else. Oh well, come to think of it, there has been goblins from time to time that have kind of moved in, and we've had to scare them off.
Well, I know their king, and he starts walking toward the movement like Ma Fratelli in the Goonies.
And he just like looks at you after you say you know their king. He's like, what the fuck? He doesn't know what that means.
It's a great line, though.
War breath is king. Yeah, so as Clavius starts kind of walking up kind of the center of the road, taking the lead, taking point, as it were.
Yeah, he's not stopping or stealthing. He's walking. It's dusk.
It's dusk. Everybody following?
I am.
as you get to about the center of town, little maps just kind of give you like a little more feel of what this place looks like. Well, it is little and it's not perfect, but it'll do. Oh my god, there's so many of you. What the? This is just.
I will say that is the comforting part of like, you saying, hey, there's this mysterious thing. It's like, well, there's like 11 of us now, so
Like 70,000 of you.
with the hippogriff, any encounter, feeling okay.
Yeah, unless there's 70 of whatever is attacking.
Right.
So this is like just, it's not perfect, but it kind of gives you the feel of what the city may look like. Thanks, Angel.
Thanks, Angel Maps. Yeah.
Angela Maps. Thanks. Shout out. You made the stream.
Like, click, and subscribe.
Yeah. Her Patreon.
I mean, it's a good map. It's a good map. It's a good map for fall too.
Solid. Yeah, it is. It is solid. I did find a nice fall map. They don't make a
And
lot of those.
Eichel, you know what the best part is?
There's a well.
There's a well.
There is a well. When there's a well, there's a way. There is a well. So yeah, this is like a bit of what the city looks like.
Stephen would like to investigate the well.
There's a man in the well. Excuse me. I'm a knight of the Bronze Edict. Get me out of here. There's nothing in the well. Nothing in the well. Dwarf.
Saru's such a good buddy.
Right.
It's true.
Until he gets a tattoo first. Then what happens? Just undercuts you.
I mean, if you're gonna go chase whatever your vision you're trying to chase down on a wall trail.
0.5 for life. So X Factor's there with you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You're in range no matter where you are, so you're just like, oh, look, there they go.
So I'm constantly moving up. I would say to Saru, I don't know how I would say it. Something like, I need to say goodbye to somebody while I'm here. Maybe this person knows how I can do that. And he's just moving up.
Roll a perception check for me, Clavius.
Rolling rocks on that perception.
Favored terrain.
From your ranger level. Look, I could have told you that was not gonna help you, man.
You said
Level 1
Clavius
ranger,
was
level
just
1 fighter, level 1.
straight up walking forward, right? Like he wasn't pretending to be or trying to be
Oh,
quiet
so you
or
made
sneaky.
you made Umlo. That's what you made Umlo.
One level of everything.
Everything.
I'm going to wherever the thing, I don't know. I'm assuming following this path is where I saw the.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're just like trudging forward, like,
Yeah.
not trying to be discreet or anything
No.
or quiet. Since you're not trying to be discreet, I think I would just kind of holler out, "Hello."
Saru Anna and Xerxes, you can also make perception checks.
Not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob. Clavius. As you're kind of moving forward, Anna, Saru, and Xerxes kind of close behind. Saru calls out as he sees that you're kind of trudging on, and the rest of the party is, slowly walking behind. And when I say the party, I mean this massive parade that we have with a hippogriff as a caboose. You and you alone see something in the distance. A figure through the trees. Shadow veiled and hard to make out in this kind of like setting sun of the dawn. The figure's not facing you. The figure's facing away. Has a long cloak going down kind of almost to their feet, and a dark hood up over their head, and they're just standing there unmoving. And as Saru calls out, the figure slowly begins to turn in your direction, and as it does, you just see this dark hood kind of turn your way, and the complete inside is just completely veiled with darkness. And then the entirety of the figure in an instant, you see the hood drop and vanish. And that is where we will pick up next time.